Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Flipping Furniture. My name is Monica and I am the founder and creator of Girasol Vintage. Oh boy, where do we start with this one? So first of all, I actually found these nightstands on the side of the road by my house. I think I was dropping off another piece to one of my clients and I spotted these from like half a mile away. I've never done a set of nightstands that used to be a vanity, and I think that's what really pushed me to pick them up and put them in my truck. So first I'm going to go ahead and start removing these pieces that, as you can see on the other nightstand, they're uneven, and I think these were just there to attach the mirror or the center the center part of this vanity. So I'm going to remove them, and again I'm going to be removing the tops because they're no bueno. So here I'm just using my little flat head to remove the screws that were attaching the top to the body, and that was actually pretty easy to remove. And as you can see here, I'm removing the top just by wiggling it and moving it backwards. It was quite easy to take off. So next I'm going to go ahead and start scuff sanding the entire piece. I already cleaned both nightstands. I just didn't film it. I don't think it's that interesting to watch me clean and wash nightstands. So I've been toying with the idea of creating a raised stencil, but I didn't know how to do it, to be honest. So I went to my local Home Depot and I talked to one of the workers there to get some direction as to what products I could use or could be used to create a thick stencil. Together we came up with a few different materials, but we settled with using plaster. These nightstands are the perfect project for this raised stencil because I can cover all the damaged veneer. But you can definitely use this same technique on any other piece of furniture. I love using my Surf Prep sander for this type of project because it's small and I can sand places where my orbital sander doesn't fit. So if you guys are interested in getting a new sander, maybe for Christmas, I'm going to leave down the link in the comment section, not the comment section, the description section, and you guys can go ahead and order yours. Before applying my stencil, I made sure that the area was clean and dry. I'm also using a stencil I got a long time ago from Dixie Belle. I like the design, but the stencil is very flimsy and super thin, so in the future, I'll probably be using JRV stencils instead. This is the product I'll be using to create the raised stencil. And I remember my dad mentioning this product a long time ago, like when I was a kid. And when I saw it at the Home Depot, it brought back memories of me and my dad in his wood shop. So you're going to pour some plaster in a plastic container. I do recommend using a plastic container for easy cleanup after it dries. Then you're going to add the water and start mixing until you get a runny consistency. Now you don't want it to be too dry and you don't want it to be too watery. If it's too dry, you're going to have a hard time laying it down and it's going to dry way too fast. If it's too runny, the plaster might get under the stencil and ruin the whole design. So you have to be careful here. Using a spatula, you're going to take a small amount and without putting too much pressure, you're going to glide the plaster on top of the stencil. Try not to rework the area and do not wait for it to start drying or the entire stencil will come up in pieces. You have, I would say, about 5 minutes before your plaster starts solidifying. As soon as you're done laying your plaster, go ahead and slowly remove the stencil. What you're watching here is my third attempt at getting this stencil right. So it does require a ton of patience, and quite frankly, I had to accept that this method is not meant to look like a factory finish. While I waited for the plaster to dry, I went to Home Depot and I picked up a pine board. I had him cut the board to size and brought it over home to just round up the edges and smooth out the top. Now, following along with the rustic design, I decided to use a dark stain for the tops. I used very thin stain in the color Special Walnut. I applied my stain with a sponge and removed any residue with a rag. To top coat the tops, I used a dark wax, which is also what I used later on to add contrast for the stencil. I painted these nightstands with Behr paint in the color Radiance, using my round zebra brush. I really like using this specific brush because I can paint over texture or over flat surfaces and still have very minimal brush strokes. Last week, in Zebra's Before and After podcast, myself and two other very talented ladies in the painting community got to share our projects with the listeners. And this is the actual project I talked about. So that was very interesting for me. It was a first for me, and to be honest with you, I know it might not seem like a huge deal for other people, especially other furniture artists who are well established, but this was a big deal for me. This was a little bit of kind of like a sign that what I'm doing is actually working and I'm being noticed by other companies and other people. As of this video, I'm about 150 subscribers away from crossing my first threshold in YouTube. My hope is to get there before the end of the year, so if you guys don't mind, please remember to like, subscribe, and comment your favorite part of this video. In order to add contrast and highlight to the stencil, I will be using a dark wax by Behr. Just like any other wax, in order to control the darkness of this specific wax, I'm going to seal first with clear wax. What you're going to do is you're going to spread your wax all over, and I like to let mine sit for a good 10 minutes and then I go back to wipe off any excess with a rag. I do recommend using two separate brushes for this step, that way you don't contaminate your clear wax or your brush. If you're just starting and don't have several brushes just, laying around, go ahead and use a rag to do this step. After wiping off any extra clear wax, I added the dark wax and then repeated the same steps as with the clear wax. You may add as much contrast as you want. For me, personally, one coat of the dark wax was enough. Last but not least, I went ahead and secured the tops for the night tables using some glue, clamps, and a few screws. Then I went ahead and added these knobs that I got from Hobby Lobby on Black Friday. So what do you guys think? Does it look like lace on wood? Let me know in the comments down below if you like this tutorial and if you would want me to recreate this on a separate piece. Here are some before pictures so you can see the huge difference from when I picked up these tables. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to show my channel some love, and I'll see you guys next week for another furniture flip. Bye bye!